Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is the game 2 analysis of part of the games I played while moving towards 2000 ELO rating on rapid 10 minutes on chess.com. So if you are just watching from this place, it means you've not been following the journey, you just made this video. So don't be confused. I started a journey on how to get to 2000 rating with a new account on chess.com. So in that account, I've been playing and reviewing games from there for educational purpose, and this is the game to review. So let's dive right into it. In this video, I'm going to show you 8 secrets you need to learn to move to the next level. I actually moved from 965 rating to 1085 after winning this game. Actually, I won this game, so the reviews and idea I used to win, you are going to find it out in this video. Let's dive right into it. First thing comes first, study your opening principle. That's the first idea. Number 1 secret, opening principle. In this position here, nobody has played. What will you do? There are center squares on this board that you need to explore while starting off in chess. As a beginner, you don't copy because you just want to copy. You copy to learn why, learn the reason why such player like a grandmaster played that move. So in this case, I played e4. Why did I play e4? I opened up the center squares, especially this e5, this e file, so that the bishop can have access to come outside, the queen can come outside. There is a checkmate sequence that goes with bishop to c4, queen to f3, and checkmate happens on f7. That can be made possible when these squares are open, especially this e2 square, when I push the pawn 2 steps. Secondly, again, I'm controlling these 2 squares. So any pawn that comes here, I'm going to capture. Any pawn that comes here, I'm going to capture. Then thirdly, look at this book on this particular move. The move says book move. You are not playing something wrong. You are playing something that is right. Secondly, that have been played by grandmasters. And thirdly, it has been registered and recorded that it's a correct book move. So you are not learning something wrong in this channel. You are learning the right thing. So I went on to observe what my opponent would do. Actually, my opponent played this move, pawn to e5. Good, blocking my pawn and following the same principal ideas. I developed a minor piece, which is a knight. I moved the knight towards f3. Notice how I did not move the knight to the side, so that I'm able to control more squares from here. Look at this. If the knight stands here on f3, I control the square e5. From the knight, I control e4. I also control g5. I control h4. I can control where I'm coming from. I control this square, although occupied now by my own pawn. I control here and I control here too. It's available squares. Easy. If the knight was supposed to be here, for example, if it stays on h3, you control only a few squares. Do the math yourself. So it's also a book move. My opponent went on to defend the pawn because when I play the knight, I attack the pawn. So material advantage is very important. So you should, secret number 2, avoid putting your pieces at the edge or corner of the board. Focus on the center. Exactly what me and my opponent have observed on just second move. Very, very crucial. These are beginners' ideas that grandmasters still use. They just that what grandmasters know are deeper than what you know because they study more so that they can win more. So you start from the scratch, start from the basic with this idea, add more information to it, then you grow on your games. So in that regard, let's proceed. We have both managed the center. Our pieces are developed towards the center. Now, we should not put the pieces at the corner of the board. That's secret number 2. I went up with the bishop. I have a pattern I use when developing my pieces at an early stage. I used to play pawn, knight, bishop, pawn, knight, bishop. So I just follow that principle and it worked for me. Although there is an exception to that principle and there are times you can break that rule if you observe what your opponent is trying to do to you. So in this case, pawn, knight, and bishop are out. The bishop moved to c4 to control more squares here from c4, and also the bishop vacates f1 so that I can castle my king. I'm able to castle my king now to the short side. My opponent went on to develop a knight. Developing the knight follows the same rule, developing the minor pieces towards the center and not at the corner of the board. So in this case, I observe what my opponent is trying to do to me. My opponent is already attacking a pawn. Just imagine this pawn is under attack after my opponent develops this knight. I can't leave it here. There are lines, advanced lines that says I can leave it and castle. Now let me show you a certain variation. I can leave it after castling. If my opponent takes the pawn, I go with my rook. You see, I align my rook on the same file where the king is still in the center, supporting the knight so I can pick up a pawn back. So if my opponent goes to somewhere here, in this position, I can as well just put my bishop somewhere here, like this. So I'm still following the principle. In the intention to take away this knight, remove the knight from the board by capture, then at the same time, I'll pick up this pawn. If my opponent counter attacks the bishop, I can go ahead to just bring the bishop back home here. And bishop is safe. Now this pawn is still hanging. How do you resolve this? Maybe my opponent will try to say, okay, you should do this, defend, but I don't see it being a good move. You just weaken the light squares and the bishops and the queen can use. So going back to the main game, this is what we have. Instead of me playing advanced theory, I went for a simple idea. I developed a minor piece with the purpose of defending the pawn in the center. Straightforward, simple and short. So my opponent went on to play a knight to the corner of the board. Breaking rule number 2, do not put your pieces at the edge of the board. This reason makes sense. My opponent is attacking the bishop. Fine. But I look at it and say, you are attacking a bishop. I can simply save my bishop. And moreover, observe the board properly. My opponent, after moving the knight to a4, undefended a pawn. So in a room to attack me, my opponent creates problem for himself. See this. Immediately I saw the attack, I did not put my bishop here. I choose to take my bishop towards the center, which is I played bishop to d3. This move at the moment is not really good to me. I will tell you why. It blocks out the pawn from development, this particular pawn. However, I wanted to keep the bishop in the center such that I can still defend the pawn. Everybody walking towards the center and being too good. So my opponent should have at least go back with the knight to defend the pawn, or just play a pawn to defend the pawn. They can talk about bringing the knight back into the game later. However, this brings us to a new concept after this move. You see, this third secret says resolve issues before going back to your plan. Initially, from here, I had no plans anymore. The plan I had from the beginning was develop my pieces and castle. So here, I just erase my plan first and look at the problem on the board. The problem is a hanging bishop. I saved my bishop. Now, let me go back to my initial plan so I can keep my king safe before launching an attack. My opponent played another move, which asks question, do I want to leave the center unresolved? Which is this issue, pawn takes pawn. Now, number 3 secret, resolve issues before going back to your plan. My plan is to castle. Now, let's pend that castling plan and talk about this issue now. What should I do? What I'll do is, the question is yes or no. Should I capture the pawn or should I leave it? If I leave this pawn here and castle now, my opponent has a move that buys him time to bring back the knight. I will show it to you. If I castle now, my opponent will take the pawn, attacking me, which is forcing me to take with the bishop or with the knight. So if I take with the bishop, he takes, I take, then he brings back the knight for free. the game is equal, free of charge. So I said, okay, what should I do? Let me be the commander of this boat. I'm going to take the pawn first. What will you do? He responded by taking. Now, you see, for him to take back, I still have one extra move to take this pawn. Yes. So, in this position here, I said, okay, what should I do? Go for free piece. I spotted a hanging piece and I went for it. So, secret number 4, spot a hanging piece that is safe. Spotting a hanging piece or pawn that is safe. Go for it. This is safe because after I take, if the queen comes to attack me, pin the knight to the king, I have this queen move. Unpinning and still defending the knight. So I went for it. Now I have +1. He develops a bishop. I went back to my plan. I castled my king. He went on to attack me. This is a lesson. Run from the face of danger or defend. So it is important to run from the face of danger whenever you spot your piece under attack. And also, you can also defend with rook to e1. This is possible. But in the game, I choose this approach that's simple and straightforward. I choose to come back home with the knight. There's a side to this particular move I made. You see, there is a room for my opponent to double pawns here. I did not see reason why he chose not to. But he went on with this move. Knight attacking the bishop. He wanted to double the pawns on this file so that maybe bishop moves, queen can take a pawn. Now, secret number 6. Secret number 6. Avoid doubled pawn if possible. So computer says, in the analysis I did, in this position that bishop moves is fine. You see this bishop move is just beautiful. You know, although the move is looking as if the bishop can still be attacked. If the bishop is attacked, there is knight d4. That's a brilliant one. You see, what is knight d4 doing? Knight d4 is opening this diagonal to take this knight with this variation. If this move happens, I can simply just eliminate this bishop, knight takes, then queen check. After king to f8, I can just pick up the knight. That was the continuation in that position. You see, I'm playing with a certain understanding, and I know that beginners would be happy to watch the way I'm doing it. Not only beginners, experienced players can learn from this. I did not spot that continuation because it's deeper than my understanding. But with this analysis and lesson, I just learned something great. Sometimes, running from the face of danger may not be the only solution. Sacrifices are hidden in positions that give you material advantage and open chances to win more. So, let's get back to the initial position. So, I believe we're here, knight to f4. I didn't go for this idea instead. I was very careful not to allow doubled pawns here. So instead, I played this move. My opponent still had double pawns, the chance to double the pawns, but he didn't. I took the bishop back. So the main reason for me pushing this rook out was to create room for the bishop to come back, because my mind was consciously thinking of doubled pawns. Double pawns, be careful, be careful. I'm not playing well. I was afraid of this move, not knowing that move will give me brilliancy since there's a hanging knight on a5. My opponent chose to castle, keeping the king safe. Now, Then I went for bishop safety. Bishop came to pin the knight to my queen. This caused an intention. You see, it made me felt alerted. I was like, how can I unpin? I also don't want a double pawn in this place because it's possible most players will put the queen and queen here. You know, many things can happen. This king side become messed up. I was careful, so I want to block out the queen from coming. I played pawn. Here, bishop left this square, attacking my bishop. See, going for the idea of double pawns again. Wow, I look for a tactical idea. If you spot the hanging knight, you are right. Because at beginner's level, you need to know and see hanging pieces. If you do not go for checkmate, if you look at the position very well and see that you calculated enough and there is no checkmate sequence, now you can calculate for material advantage to win material. That's possible. And in material advantage, do not forget, a simple move like taking a hanging piece is a tactical idea, is a tactic. Good. You have other complicated tactics, yes, but an undefended piece creates room for stronger tactics. So you can study more on tactics. So secret number 7, look out for tactics. And that's what I did. I said, okay, what problem did he create after removing that bishop? The first problem is that he wants to create a double pawn. And second one, he left the knight hanging. So I took the knight. He attacked. Number 8, secret. Calculate patiently. Know your end result before conclusion. Most of you might think that this is a free pawn. No, it is not. Let me show you why. You cannot take with the knight. In fact, you are unable to take with the knight because of bishop takes queen. You see, it's a blunder. That move is a blunder. You're unable to take with the bishop again because, you see, in this position, it is possible to remove this guy. He has gotten a knight. Remove the defender of the bishop. If you go with this, then you go with this. Now, if you decide to, because this is under attack, if you decide to go with this move, then this happens. Now, at this point, although I've taken a knight, but I don't like the structure of what I'm seeing, I decided to say, okay, let me go for the easiest defense, which is bishop back to e3. I just defended. Simple. And I hold on to my pawn in the center. I'm not too greedy. I've gotten a knight. He pushed further, wanting to kick this bishop away. In this position, I said, okay, let me attack. Bishop takes. He takes. Now, the double pawn I was afraid of, I've gotten it. But now I have some kind of advantage in knight. So, patiently, I'm trying to play the game to the end. Here comes in an attack on the bishop. I went to safety. He moved in with his pieces. Here I push a pawn, opening a discovery attack on the hanging piece. He took, I took. Now this happened. See, he had to spend time to defend the knight, keeping this hanging. Then I took a hanging pawn. In this position, my opponent resigned. I got added elo rating, and from 965, I ended up having 1085 elo points. This is game 2. So this is the journey and the ideas I played in the journey. The ideas are very simple. If you apply it to your games, you get better in no time. Whether you are playing over the board or online, just be careful. These 8 secrets would help you boost your game to the next level. If you like this video, share to your friends, like, and comment so I can create more videos like this in the future. See you in game 3 analysis. Till then, take care of yourself.